Greetings, everyone. Rajee Narinesingh here, transgender activist, actress, spiritualist, author, show host, and reality TV personality. I'm also an outreach advocate for Trans Social, a trans-led, trans-focused organization. So I'm coming to you from my very humble home here in South Florida, USA, and I had a dream with Charlene. Charlene was in my dream. And I know you all are like, who the hell is Charlene? Well, the Charlene I'm talking about is my cousin Charlene, who is on my father's side, who lives in Trinidad with her husband, Mr. David. That's what I call him. He is from England. He's English, British. And so they both live in Trinidad. She's there with her mother, my aunt. And so in my dream, and dreams are really interesting because sometimes you dream and then you wake up and you don't initially remember. And then when you start to remember, you're trying to piece together things and see if there's a message in the dream. Like, what did it mean? So in the dream, I'm in my bedroom and I'm sitting on my bed and I hear she's knocking. Charlene's knocking on my bedroom door. And she's like, Raj. She calls me Raj. And she's like, Raj. And I get up and I go open the door. And in her hand, she's smiling. And in her hand, she has some parsad. Now, for those of you who don't know what parsad is, in the Hindu religion, and that's on my father's side. My father was Hindu. At Hindu prayers, what they do is they offer food and drink to God as an offering of giving thanks and praise. And so at the end of the prayers, everyone gets some of the food to take. And it's looked on as like the food has been blessed and you're taking blessings with you. And so that's what parsad is. So in the dream, she's holding the parsad and she's like, here, take some, it's for you. And behind her, Mr. David, her husband, is waving at me, smiling. And that's the end of the dream. So when I woke up, I didn't remember right away. And then I remembered, I'm like, oh my God. And I have to tell you, I feel like God used Charlene to give me a message. I posted my last video and I was talking about my trip to Vegas and getting stranded in Houston, Texas, and how it was really challenging for me dealing with the negativity from people, with what's going on with the transgender and drag queen community and the mentality of people. You could feel it. You could feel the energy, the negative energy, the looks of disdain and disgust. And, there were some people that were laughing at me and, just really, really like tense energy. And it was very uncomfortable for me and just really challenging. I've been through a lot. I am a trooper, but I'm human too. And anyway, in that video, I also talked about, how along the way I bumped into my wonderful fans from all over the world. And, these people were showing me love, honey. You could tell they love and respect me. And, people from all over. There was a family from Ireland that, even said my name. And it was just amazing. And it, scattered, like throughout my trip, I would run into someone here and there, the flight attendants, the workers at the hotel, people in the airport, and et cetera, et cetera. So I really know that helped me. It helped to balance off the negativity that I was getting. And also in the video, I talked about, love and support from family and friends. And so I believe that God used Charlene in my dream to say to me, Rajee, there's so many people that love and support you. Like, you may think it's not as many, but there's a lot of people that love and support you. And I thought, like, in the video, I mentioned my mom and I mentioned my cousin Dee Dee, and I mentioned my organization Trans Social, Ashley and Morgan Mayfair, Janice Danielle, my friends, Salik and Dennis, Gary and Jack, Tatiana Williams, and First Lady Kendra. But then I was like, oh my God, but there's so many more people. Like my cousin Charlene and her husband, Mr. David, my cousin Monique and Sumitra, my aunt Martha, oh my God, my therapist, Timothy O'Connor, friends like Natalie, Sean, Brian, Brenda, Anthony Gerard, oh my God, Mariah Darling, Kiki Darling, Betty, my neighbors. I mean, I could mention more people. I really could. But the point is, I feel like God's trying to tell me, Rajee, you have support. Like there's people that do love and respect you and support you. Also, I talked about, bumping into like the fans along the way. I'm going to tell you, this dream that I had made me have another thought. Because, yeah, it was phenomenal bumping into people that, recognized me, and I was feeling like the love and the respect and the adoration. But there were a few people along the way that did not know who I am, and they still treated me with kindness and respect that you would treat another decent human being, that you would give to another decent human being. There was this Chinese woman, little tiny thing, old Chinese lady, probably in her 70s, and she had the broken English, but I did understand her completely. And she got stranded in Houston too. And for whatever reason, she connected with me. Oh my goodness. She was sitting across from me. She smiled at me, and then, we were exchanging a few words, and then, we were there, and after hours, she said, you need to eat something. And, come, let's go get something to eat. I'll walk with you. And I'm not making fun of her accent. I'm just trying to give you like the fullness of the scenario. And so she walked with me, and we were together in the terminal that night when I was trying to sleep. Oh my God, it was freezing cold, trying to sleep in that uncomfortable seat. But we finally did fall asleep. And when I woke up, I didn't see her anywhere. And I was like, oh my God, like looking around for her and everything. And then one thing led to another. I found out like my other flight was going to be canceled. And then my organization, Transsocial, was able to get me a hotel. So I ended up leaving. So I figured I'd never see her again. Well, life is amazing. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, finally got in late Friday night, and I'm in baggage claim, and I look up the stairs, and who is walking down the stairs? This little old Chinese lady. And when she sees me, she's like, oh my God, my friend. And she's like, oh, and she hugged me, and she said, I got to take picture with you. And so I believe that was meant to be for us to have, that connection, that reconnection, because we had lost each other. She's like, I looked for you. Where were you? And then there was another lady from Canada who I connected with in the TSA line, who I know did not know who I am. And she turned to ask me a question about us being in the correct line. And I told her yes. And then we started talking. And so when we get through we're going through security, of course, I'm pulled aside. They usually pull me aside. Lately, it's been just a quick pat down. But for whatever reason, this TSA officer, she wanted to do the full thing. She's like, I got to go up in your crotch and, go over your backside and all of that. So I just waved to her and I said, listen, take care. Have a good flight. She's like, no, I'm waiting for you. We can walk to our gates together. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So she didn't have to do that. This woman didn't know, we weren't friends or anything per se, but she waited for me. And we had really wonderful conversation in the airport. And then there were even guys that were gentlemen. I mean, when I was waiting to get on the plane to come back to Fort Lauderdale, like people were going past me, and I was trying to find a way in, and this guy stops and he's like, "Go ahead." I said, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And then when I get on the plane, I'm trying to put my luggage in the overhead compartment, and I'm struggling a little bit. And this guy saw me, and he gets up and he like puts the suitcase in the compartment. Even in Houston, oh my Lord, I get, of all places, I get stranded in Houston, Texas, with what's going on politically against our community, the trans community and the drag queen community. And hey, I live in Florida, so but there were people in Houston that were pretty cool, down to earth people, a lot of Tex-Mex, Tejano people, I think that's how you say it, and people of color, Black folks. And I was sitting waiting for an Uber to go to the hotel to get some relief because I was exhausted. And this Black guy walks by and he's like, "Hi, beautiful." And I smiled. He's like, "Wow, you got a beautiful smile." And it wasn't like a pickup line. He was just being kind, And then the workers at the hotel, some of them were really friendly. Some of the Uber drivers were pretty friendly. There was a Latino guy that saw me waiting for a while for the lift. He's like, "Do you need help ordering your lift?" And I was like, "No, thank you." So even in in Houston, Texas, and it just shows that with all of the hatred, discrimination, injustice, intolerance, negativity in the world, there are still good, kind human beings. Good, kind human beings. I believe that God really tried to give me, and really he succeeded because I got the message. God, through Charlene in my dream, was telling me, "Rajee, yes, there's a lot of negativity. It's there, but don't focus on that. Focus on the love, the blessings, the positivity, the people in your life that love and support you and respect you. Focus on that." God, I'm going to try. It's hard. It's hard sometimes, but I'm going to sure try. And on that note, I want to wish everyone love, happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, and many wonderful blessings.